read President Trump's guidance to both Secretary Tillerson and me has been very clearly that we would pursue the diplomatic effort to include with the various initiatives with China, and to ensure that we pushed on sanctions, economic sanctions designed to keep this in the diplomatic framework for moving forward.
More mixed messages on North Korea at the very top level of the Trump administration. U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis now says Washington is looking into ways to open talks with Pyongyang, with President Trump tweeting earlier this week that such efforts would be a, quote, waste of time. It seems they aren't seeing eye to eye on the best approach.
U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis has reaffirmed the U.S. is working towards talks with North Korea. He came to the defense of Secretary of State Rex Tillerson at a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing on Tuesday, explaining that President Trump and his top diplomat were on the same page and looking for a diplomatic solution.
I believe that Secretary Tillerson is accurately stating that we are probing for opportunities to talk with the North. All we're doing is probing. We're not talking with them, consistent with the President's dismay about not talking with them before the time is right, before they're willing to talk. So I do not see the divergence as strongly as some have interpreted it. At the same time, the President, I think, has a responsibility to ensure that we go into this with our eyes wide open, with numerous Republican and Democrat administrations in the past having been disappointed in this initiative. I think it is a dynamic balance as we try to go forward with a solution, but at the same time ensure we have military options.
Just a final point, I don't want to dwell on this, but in these situations, and I think you're acutely aware of it, the possibility of miscalculation, misinformation, misinterpretation is very real. And communication, even back-channel communications to not negotiating, but simply to be able to send messages, do you think that's vitally important? Because the President seems to be disparaging even those types of messaging channels.
Senator, I think the President dispatching Secretary Tillerson to Beijing here within the last several days to carry messages and to look at the way we can work with them is the most accurate answer to your question, that in fact this is part of a whole of government integrated effort that we have underway right now, and that's what Secretary Tillerson was carrying forward for the President.
He added that President Trump had guided Tillerson and himself to pursue diplomatic efforts, including initiatives with China, and that Tillerson's trip to China last week showed that integrated effort. It was during this trip to Beijing that Tillerson made the comments that sparked this current controversy. He said the U.S. was in direct communication with North Korea, the first admission of its kind for the Trump administration, but that so far Pyongyang had shown no interest in talks. A day later, President Trump tweeted that Tillerson was wasting his time trying to negotiate with the little rocket man, the moniker Trump has given North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. He also pointed out that being nice hadn't worked for 25 years during 3 administrations. The White House also stressed on Monday that there have been no talks with Pyongyang over its nuclear program, but that the only conversations to have taken place are on bringing back American detainees. It's not the first time the White House and the State Department have made conflicting statements, and Mattis said that he does not see the divergence as strongly as some have interpreted, but there does seem to be a divergence nonetheless.